Wade
and Wade
Reacts.
This is our review for Blue Eye Samurai. We're going to tell you the good, the bad, and our nitpicks. So let's get into it.
Blue Eye Samurai is a series full of great action, great and unique animation. The story is complex and has twists and turns that keeps the viewer hooked and interested in what's going to happen next. The story provides compelling opposition, compelling villains, along with an interesting protagonist. She has a backstory that kind of pulls on the emotional strings of the viewer, makes you interested in her journey, and it causes you to be invested in how the story is going to come to an end.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Like you said, it was good. The animation was really good, and it was action-packed from beginning to end. There was never a dull moment in this show. And I think more shows need to learn from Blue Eye Samurai that you can even make the dialogue and the flashbacks interesting. And the different characters, they each had a backstory that was equally as good as the main character.
True.
Whether it was the guy that didn't have any hands, which we didn't get shown his backstory, but from what they told us, we understood what his backstory was. The sword maker, the bladesmith, he had a good story. They revealed how he lost his sight. And who else?
The unbeatable samurai.
Yeah, her rival. Yeah, and then even other characters. So
and his fiance.
Yeah, so they did a good job of building up characters and introducing characters into the story and still having an interest in the characters, because a lot of shows we see in movies, they introduce characters, Rebel Moon, that we don't really care about. But this show did an excellent job making you care about every character.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, shout out to the voice acting. The voice acting was good.
Incredible.
And the direction. Each episode, it flowed. If there was different directors for each episode, I couldn't tell.
True. Well, there was one episode.
We can get into that. But yeah, as far as the good goes, I can't say anything. But I can't sing anything but praises for this show. Let's get into the bad.
I can't really say anything bad about the show, as you stated before we got into the bad category. The show was good throughout. There was nothing that I saw that I was like, man, that should not have happened. Nothing to complain about, really.
I do have some bad to say about this show. This show, I don't know if it's as historically accurate as it could have been. There's a lot of things. I'm pretty sure that Japan had guns.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And this is maybe it's for a narrative standpoint. They wanted to depict the villain as an evil foreigner that was bringing in foreign weapons, messing up Japan. But I did not like the show not being historically accurate.
I didn't like that scene where the opposition was approaching the Shogun's fortress. And the gunmen lined up, and there were the gunmen versus the Shogun's archers. The archers didn't stand a chance against the gunmen, even though we understand that back in the day, they couldn't just rapid fire with those guns. They had to stop and reload. So that would give the archers time to draw their bow and to release it. I didn't think that they displayed that battle well enough. That battle should have been a back and forth battle. Just because you have a gun, especially in that day, does not mean you're going to win against archers.
Nah, because there's many battles that was fought when people had guns and the opposition had bows and arrows and they won.
And they obliterated the archers like it was nothing. Plus, the Shogun didn't have as many troops as I think that he should have had. Man, the whole fortress should have been furnished with the Shogun's protection, or troops rather.
Yeah, then that gets into what I had a problem with was episode 8. The show was good all the way into episode 8. Episode 8 was decent. It wasn't horrible, but it could have been executed better. Like you said, that the climax, that battle, it needs to be. A lot of filmmakers don't really put time into battles like they used to. Back in the day, whether it was Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, even Harry Potter, the last battle, they had tactics. I didn't see any tactics. The only thing I seen where if you had a gun, you were superior to somebody with a bow, and we know that's not the case. And now we're gonna give you our nitpicks.
Man, going back to episode 8, like you laid out a few moments ago, the troops that had the guns that were on the opposition's side were superior to everyone else who didn't have a gun unless they were fighting against one of the main characters. Then all of a sudden their guns and their superiority by way of their guns was of no effect. They didn't even try to shoot the main character when she was cutting them down with her katana. It's like, where's your superiority in this fight scene? I think they should have did a better job at arranging the fight scene so that the samurai would have to come up with strategies on how to defeat the gunmen instead of just straight up cutting them down.
Yeah, I had a similar problem, but it was a technical aspect like yours, but it had more to do with the armor. Most TV shows don't respect armor. That's the purpose of armor is to protect you from blunt force trauma, to protect you from blades. But in this show, they were cutting through armor like it was butter. For the next season, if anybody just happens upon this video that works for Netflix and the production team for Blue Eye Samurai, man, make the armor matter. You know, there are weak points in armor. They're in the joints. You can stab the neck, which I did see some of those attacks in the show, so I know they're capable of doing it when they choreograph the show. Another nitpick I had was the main character. The main character, there wasn't any of this, what people like to call Mary Sue, because we seen the character said she had to train. And I like that, because a lot of shows and movies, if you just a beast, you just said you don't have to train after that. You did your training.
Oh, yeah.
So I like that she trained, but one thing I had a problem with this show was that the main character was doing impossible things. There's one episode, I'm not gonna say which episode, so it won't be any spoilers, but she got stabbed through the Achilles tendon with a metal rod and kept going. And she's not the only character that did that. The main evil villain, in the climax of the fight, he got stabbed in his foot multiple times and he kept going.
And she stabbed that big guy in his neck and he was still giving her that work.
Yeah, and it seems like on this show, if you're not a main character, you cannot survive a wound that would have killed a regular person any other time, but doesn't kill the main character.
The samurai showed a bunch of skills throughout the entire series. Every time she came up against a boss, per se, or one of the main antagonists of a particular episode, she showed incredible skill. She even fought off about 12 to 15, maybe even 20 samurai, fought off a bunch of assassins, and showed a plethora of tremendous skill. But when she fights the main evil villain, all of a sudden her flair goes out the window. Her acrobatic skill is gone. Her speed is non-existent. I was left thinking, why isn't she fighting the way that she did in the previous episodes? Because if she was fighting that way, the guy, the last enemy, would have been easily defeated. I think whoever choreographed and directed the last episode should have kept some continuity in the style of action that was presented to us in the previous episodes. And they should have upped the last enemy's level of skill so that he could match the main character. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. Then my last nitpick is, for the next season, can we have more good people? Because on this, there wasn't anybody that was like genuinely good.
True.
Everybody had like a character flaw to them, except for, but there was some flaws of these characters, but they weren't as like, just like the dude, he'll be making a connection with the girl, and then out of nowhere, it's something that he didn't like, so he'll be like, "You're a demon," and then leave. Exactly. And it's not the only people that was like, they was like regular people was the Blue Eye Samurai, the guy that was missing his hands, and the blind old man. I need for the next season to add some more characters. Because these characters were likable, but they have some good qualities about them, other than the Blue Eye Samurai, the man with no hands, and the blind dude.
I mean, even the princess had some ulterior motives.
Yeah, but I like that about that character. That it fits for that character. But everybody outside, it was like, man, come on, are there any nice people in this world? But from a scale from whack to masterpiece, where does it sit?
It's not whack, but it doesn't have the elements that it needs to be a masterpiece. So I would say that this series is good. I think it has the capabilities of being even great, but we'll have to wait until season 2 comes out. And once we can look at both season 1 and 2, then I could possibly elevate it to a great rating.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this show is super good. So for anybody that does your ABC ratings, if that's what you go by, that would be a C plus. That's good with a flair. So it wasn't like a lot of people were saying, like, oh my God, you have to see this. But if you have the time, you know, you can sit down and watch Blue Eye Samurai and you will be thoroughly entertained.
Because it's a lot that Blue Eye Samurai has to offer. If you're a fan of art and unique animation, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of samurai in general, you're gonna love this. If you are an action movie lover, this is gonna satisfy you in every way possible.
Yep. So that's been our review. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And we'll see you in the next one, and we're out of here.
Peace.